Welcome back. So we'll start with the fourth half model, that is water chemistry. So as we know, water is one of the most abundant and widely distributed substance, and water is also the second important substance. As you know, the air is the first important substance to us, and so water is widely used in industries such as paper industry, and textile industry, sugar industry, even in thermal plants also. And this water is associated with very variety of impurities, the nature and amount of which vary with the source of water also. So let us study this source of water. As we know, the water is available on the surface also and underground also. So we have divided in two, that is surface water, rain water, river water, lake water, sea water. This comes under the surface water, and the underground water is available in underground. So this is second part. So let us study one by one. So as you know, rain water is the purest form of the water. So it dissolves considerable amount of gases and solid particles from the atmosphere as the rain moves downwards. So during the journey of rain downwards, it will get these impurities. Okay. So river water, as we know, river water contains the minerals like chloride, sulfates, bicarbonates, and this sodium, chlorine, magnesium, and iron also. And also it contains the organic matters derived from of some of the decomposition of plants, small particles of sand also, and even soil in suspension also. Thus this river water is a little bit impure as compared to rainwater, and it is with considerable amount of dissolved and suspended impurities. So lake water, as we know, lake water is having less dissolved minerals, but it is having in high quantity of organic matter. Okay, so this is lake water. This is stored water, we can say. River is flowing water, and the lake water is, this is stored water. Sea water. Sea water is actually a most impure form of the natural water. It contains an average of this 3.5 of dissolved salt. Dissolved salt of average 3.5, and NaCl, that is a salt formation, that is 2.6%. This is sodium chloride. So other salts like sodium bicarbonates of sodium, sulfates of sodium, and bicarbonates of potassium, even magnesium and calcium, those also present in this sea water. For last one is underground water. So example is you have observed spring and even well water also. So this is clear in the appearance due to filtration of the soil. So as it is, the water is available in the underground, the soil filters all the water from all the impurity. So it is high organic purified. Okay. So this is all about source of water. So next we'll study the impurities on the water. So what are the impurities present in this water? So impurities may be in presence of in the form of dissolved gas. It may be dissolved solid, suspended impurities, or even microscopic matter also. Okay. So first we will study this dissolved gas. As you know, the water found in the nature is never pure actually, and it contains mainly carbon dioxide, oxygen gas, and dissolved gases. Sometimes it may contain ammonia and sulfur compounds, that is H2S, in the form of H2S, hydrogen sulfide. It is in the form of dissolved gases, and it imparts foul smell to the water. So this is about the dissolved gas and dissolved solids. Okay. So the soluble salts, like some of the salts like calcium, magnesium, sodium, etc., are dissolved salts are present in the form of impurities in the water. Even sometimes oxides of manganese, iron, and lead and arsenic also present in the form of solids. So this is about dissolved solid. So third one is suspended impurities. So here suspended impurities are the dispersion of solid particle which can be removed by filtration. So these particles can be removed by filtration or settling. So first one is inorganic. Here two types are there. So inorganic, here you can observe clay, silica, oxides of iron and manganese. So these comes under the inorganic. So these are the suspended impurities in the form of inorganic impurities. So organic impurities are wood, leaf, bacteria, algae, dead animals. These come under the organic impurities. Okay, these are suspended impurities. The fourth one is microscopic matter. So here you can observe many pathogens like bacteria and microorganisms are present in the water. They are the main causes for the waterborne diseases. So this is the main effect of presence of this bacteria and microorganisms in the water. Okay, this is about the impurities in the water. So now we'll start with the next concept, that is this is boiler feed water. So next concept is boiler feed water. So this title as itself it is indicating that water is fed into the boiler for the production of steam. So here we are going to produce steam. So for that, whatever the water is you are feeding to the boiler, that is nothing but boiler feed water. So we can observe this boiler, some of the troubles, boiler troubles, those are the formation of scale and sludge. Second one is priming and foaming. Okay. Third one is boiler corrosion. So these are some of the troubles we are facing with the boilers. So first one is scale. So what is scale here? So thick hard precipitate of calcium sulfate and calcium bicarbonate, magnesium bicarbonate and magnesium chloride on the wall of the boiler. So deposition of these compounds makes the formation of scale, that is called as scale. Okay. So sludge is nothing but this is the PPT formed, this precipitate, you can say precipitate formed is loose, non-adherent and suspended in the boiler feed water is called sludge. Okay. So this is sludge that will be always non-adherent to the wall and suspended in the boiler. Okay. So disadvantage, what actually how it affects the boiler. So sludge, as it forms a sludge and scale. So what sludge form are poor conductors of heat and causes waste of fuel. As if the sludge is formed inside the boiler, we are applying heat and it is actually poor conductor of heat, so it will fail to transfer the heat from outside to the water, so that your water will not get heat soon. So it will make waste of fuel also and waste of time also. So as the sludge are poor conductor, you can face the problem with waste of fuel. And second one is danger of explosion due to excess of pressure inside the boiler. If the if boiler is got corroded or the formation of sludge and scale are more, then it may be explode due to the excess pressure. Okay. So excess of sludge formation decreases the efficiency of boiler. Efficiency means if you provide more and more fuel also will not get water heated very soon. Okay. So the efficiency decreases as your sludge formation is more. So these scales act as a thermal insulator. So it do not conduct the heat correctly and fastly, so it can act as an insulator. It decreases the efficiency of the boiler. So this is all about the disadvantages. So as we know, the boiler corrosion takes place as the boiler is that is of iron. So iron in presence of oxygen and water, it undergoes corrosion. So as the boiler undergoes corrosion, so due to some of the effects like dissolved oxygen, dissolved carbon dioxide, dissolved salts like MgCl2, that is magnesium chloride. So due to these three effects, that is dissolved O2, dissolved CO2, carbon dioxide, dissolved salts like magnesium chloride. So due to these three effects, boiler corrosion occurs. So let us study one by one, okay, with the reactions. So we'll see the first one. So this is very important. They will ask in the exam that explain corrosion due to dissolved oxygen, or explain corrosion due to carbon dioxide, or they may ask like corrosion due to salts, that is magnesium chloride salt. Okay, so here dissolved oxygen in presence of water, it causes the corrosion. As I said, already said that this boiler is of iron. So iron in presence of water and oxygen, it forms ferric oxide. So as it is a corrosion product, you can say rust, hydrated iron oxide or ferric oxide, this is the rust you are going to form. So how to prevent this? So in order to prevent, you can add the sodium sulfate. So this is Na2SO3, this is sodium sulfate. With in presence of oxygen, it forms sodium Na2SO4. And the second prevention method is adding hydrogen. Hydrogen is N2H4. You can write like NH2. Okay, hydrogen in presence of oxygen, it gives inert gas. So liberation of nitrogen gas takes place along with the formation of pure water. So this reaction is with no side effects. So you can prefer this reaction over this adding sodium sulfate reaction. Okay, so this is about the prevention of this formation of corrosion, it is boiler corrosion. Okay, second one is corrosion due to carbon dioxide. So as you know, you are having calcium bicarbonate. So that calcium bicarbonate decomposes to give calcium carbonate along with the water formation and the carbon dioxide formation. So this reaction is due to corrosion. Okay, so and this water and carbon dioxide, that is getting combined to form H2CO3. Okay, so this is nothing but your this you got by combination of this water and carbon dioxide. So this iron carbonate, this will give you on decomposition, it gives you ferric hydroxide along with the formation of carbon dioxide gas. So this is the reaction taking place due to carbon dioxide presence here. Okay, so how we are going to prevent this formation of corrosion? That is by chemical method. So ammonia hydroxide you are taking, NH4OH. To that you add carbon dioxide, so it will give you ammonium carbonate, so that it will avoid boiler corrosion along with the formation of this H2O. So this is the procedure. Ammonia hydroxide reacts with the carbon dioxide and it forms the ammonium carbonate along with the water, so that we can control the boiler corrosion which is due to carbon dioxide. Okay, third one is corrosion. So third one is corrosion due to dissolved salts like magnesium chloride. Here dissolved salts are like MgCl2 causes acid formation. In this case, formation of acid takes place. See here, MgCl2, it reacts with the H2O and it gives you magnesium hydroxide, MgOH twice, along with 2HCl. As I told, it forms the acid. It causes acid formation. So HCl, that is hydrochloric acid, is nothing but corrosion acid in this case. Okay. So now, what is the method to prevent this boiler corrosion due to this salt, that is MgCl2? So you just need to react this HCl, whatever formed corrosion acid is formed in this case, that is this is acid. As we are going to add any OH that is base, it is forming salt plus water. As we know, when acid reacts with the base, it forms salt and water. So this is a way to prevent this boiler corrosion, which is causing due to the presence of dissolved salts like MgCl2. This reaction you can call as alkali neutralization. As you are adding excess base, you are going to form salt water. The excess acidic nature is neutralized by adding alkali, and even vice versa. If it forms base, you just add acid, it will form again salt and water. So this is the way to control the corrosion due to dissolved salts like MgCl2. So next we will continue with the water pollution. As you know, water pollution is nothing but the discharge of certain foreign substance into water that affects the physical, biological and chemical properties of water, which in turn decreases the utility of water, is known as water pollution. This is very basic, you know, and the water which is responsible for these unhealthy changes in the water is known as water pollutants. As you know, for example, you can take palladium, even mercury, even cyanide, arsenic. So these all like some of the alkalis, arsenic, copper, these all are the water pollutants, you can say. Even pesticides, insecticides, fungicides, these are all comes under this water pollutants. Here I have mentioned here insecticides, pesticides and fungicides. These all comes in water pollutants. Okay, water pollutant is nothing but the matter which is responsible for the unhealthy changes in the water. That is nothing but water pollutant. Sewage water is nothing but contaminated water. You can also call effluent. Okay, so this is sewage water. So water is classified depending upon the source of water pollutant. The sewage water is classified into two categories. Okay, depending upon source pollutant sewage, that is domestic sewage and industrial sewage. Sewage is nothing but contaminated water. So first we will see domestic sewage. So this domestic sewage is discharge away from residents, institutes, hospitals, etc. So these includes organic waste, pathogenic bacteria, plant materials, and even pesticides and detergents also, and even other materials also. This domestic sewage causes waterborne diseases like sometimes dysentery, cholera, typhoid, and even sometimes hookworm infection also. So this is all about domestic sewage. So effects is nothing but I have mentioned here, that's what I have explained. Waterborne diseases, dysentery, hookworm infection, cholera and typhoid. This is hookworm. So next we'll have a look on industrial sewage. Industrial sewage. So here industrial sewage is nothing but the water released by industries which contains this, that is palladium, mercury, cyanide, arsenic, copper, alkalis, pesticides, even soap, detergents also, insecticides, fungicides and even phenol, etc. So this comes under the industrial sewage. Organic waste which is present in the water undergoes degradation and breakdown into sample molecules by bacteria. So here this bacterial activity is are two types, that is aerobic oxidation, or you can call aerobic degradation, and second one is anaerobic oxidation, or you can also call anaerobic degradation. So aerobic oxidation, the title itself, it is telling that it is in presence of air. So the oxidation brought about by the bacteria in presence of air and dissolved oxygen of water, it is called as aerobic oxidation. So this is undergoing in presence of air. So it produces simpler compounds like water and carbon dioxide. So these are the products. It may be water or carbon dioxide. anaerobic oxidation is nothing but it is again title telling that anaerobic. So this is undergoing in absence of air. Oxidation brought about by the bacteria in absence of air and this produces harmful products like ammonia, H2S, hydrogen sulfide, or even methane also. So these are some harmful gases which will produced by this anaerobic oxidation. So this is all about the waste, industrial sewage. Okay. So now we'll start with the sewage treatment. So how you are going to, you understood what are the sewage, that is domestic and industrial sewages, and now we are going to study how the sewage is treated. Okay. So sewage water is discharged oxygen and leads to death of the oxygen. Okay. So here sewage water is waste from kitchen, laundries, bathroom, laboratories, industries, and etc. also. Okay. So the domestic sewage, it contains heavy load of BOD.